Good morning, Nucci Division. If you are out in the hall, please make your way into the ballroom as soon as you can. We are about to start. Come on up, find your seats in the front. Please, please, we're about to start. Thank you. Good morning, Nucci. Hey, would you all please stand up and move toward the front? We want all of our Nucci team toward the front 8-10 rows. Please, please. We'd appreciate it. Thank you. We're about to begin. Thank you, Nucci friends coming in. Please make your way to the front rows, please. I see you coming. Come on in to the front. Do not sit in the back rows. We'd like you up close and intimate.
you feeling?
Good morning, good morning!
What's up, Nucci team? That wasn't very convincing. How we doing? All right.
Guys, if we have to be excited at 8 a.m., you have to be excited at 8 a.m.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, how were those speeches last night, huh? If you gave a speech, could you stand up real quick? Jeff.
All right.
Ivy.
Amazing job. Thank you so much.
Good work.
Now, Milo, have you had a good meeting?
Yes, I have, Amber. Thank you for asking.
No problem.
I've had a really good meeting. I learned a lot. Learned about referrals from Dan Milas. Learned some vision and goals from Brent Balance. Big takeaway there, if you're not hitting your goals, raise your standards. And also with Dan Milas, am I referable? Jeff Kinney, your best year yet can start today. It's awesome. Amber, you learn a thing or two?
I think I had a couple of things. Brian Daly has a way with goals, and he always reminds me to set a plan for them, and that Tom James doesn't hire finished products. I get to decide today who I'm going to be, where I'm going to go, and who I'm going to share that vision with. I'm also just really proud to be a part of Tom James. I think when we're at this meeting, we get another level of excitement. The fact that a few years ago, we were averaging 69 units per person average, and now we're at 114. It's not if, but when we get to $1 billion, and that's something to get really excited about at 8 a.m.
Hey, Amber.
Yeah?
You ready to start the podcast?
Oh, sure thing. Okay, everyone. We've got something good planned for you today. Milo, make sure the headphones are plugged in.
Let's do it. All right. These plug into nothing, by the way. How does this work? We ready? All right, everyone. I am your grateful co-host of this podcast. Let's get ready to scooch down to Noochtown and take a seat, get comfortable, and welcome to Don't Rack Your Brain, the podcast in which we've never met. But I'm hoping the names Milo Rubin and Amber Schrader might ring a bell.
This will be our first and most likely last and probably only live broadcasting of our pod.
But please be sure to subscribe on Spotify. We could use it. Thank you. We've got some treats in store for you today. Very shortly, we're going to be inviting a few of our esteemed Nucci Division partners up onto stage to ask them a few questions. So we're going to be hearing from Sam Hammond, Ayman Al-Shami, and Barry Helms, all right? Be ready to learn from what they're doing, because all of them have really impressive stories to share.
And not only do we have phenomenal Tom James partners, but we also have something really exciting to share. We have a couple of Tom James clients with us here as well.
Yes, we do.
They will get to share the value of the Tom Jameses added to their life, and we get to see what the relationship with their clothier is all about. This is amazing and awesome, and we are very excited to have them as guests on the pod.
Yo, how cool is that? Also, guys, it's 8 a.m. on a Saturday, okay? So when these two men come up, let's remember they woke up, got dressed in some fine custom clothing, drove to National Harbor, and they're here with us to help us. So let's please be sure to show them a little bit of gratitude for that, all right? Get behind that? Awesome.
Now, for our very first guest, we'd like to introduce Sam Hammond.
Woo!
Sam is from our Boston office. She is the fastest ever in company history to achieve haze and just became the fastest ever to achieve top of the mountain in June in 28 months, having her best month ever of 685 units, also achieving car and driver. Sam is just in her 29th selling month. She has a business of over 250 rolling clients with a UPC of 14.18 and is selling 3,600 units. The hamster and my little giggle buddy. Let's give it up for Samantha Hammond. Welcome to the pod, Sam. Oh.
Yeah, you got to get mic'd up.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Nice.
Cool. Hello.
So Sam, you're pretty consistently raising yourself to the next level. So what ties you to your goals?
What ties me to my goals? I had a lot of people ask me this meeting, like what motivates you, what keeps you motivated, and I was trying to think of like a really good answer to give everybody. But I think that there's a certain point where motivation turns to discipline, and I think it's awesome to have motivation and be tied to really big goals like club levels and achievements and trips and money. But I think at this point for me, I think I'm gonna chalk it up to just a lot of discipline. Every day I'm getting up, I'm doing the things that I say I'm gonna do, and that feels really good for me at the end of the day. So just every day, like sticking to the things that I set up for myself, whether it's my morning workout, asking for referrals, booking appointments, that feels good for me at the end of the day. So I think just staying true to myself is what I'm tied to right now.
Awesome.
Thank you.
What advice do you have for someone who may be struggling to believe it's possible for them?
What was it? Sorry.
Somebody that might be struggling to believe everything that you've accomplished might not be for them.
I feel like it's easy to tie to like sports and practicing. Obviously, like if you're starting a new sport and you're at your first practice, you're not going to be like an NBA level player. But as you practice and you put in the work, it kind of comes to fruition. As much as you practice, the better that you get. So I think it's like, Amanda Latimer might have said, it's kind of like a residency. You're putting in a lot of work, a lot of time, and it feels like a grind. But it's so you can become the surgeon, become the NBA player. So I just try to practice even now, every day, to try to get better. So I think that might help.
I'm a little bit of a numbers guy. Let's talk about June for a second. You had 23 new clients last month for 364 new business units. Yeah, let's give that a little bit of love. So 364 units worth of new business. So you had a 15.8 new business unit per transaction. So I'm curious, how did you do that? What kind of prospects are you targeting? How did you serve them? What caused that?
I feel like when I'm meeting with a new person, I try to be really, really intentional about asking like a ton of very specific questions when I meet with them. I know some people are like in and out of appointments. Something I try to do is first have a really, really good conversation, especially with a new client, and build some sort of connection, whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And then I ask really, really specific questions, and that kind of helps me set expectations for them and myself. And I think getting to know the client and asking like, what's your wife's name, what's your kids' names, what do you like to do on the weekends, where do you travel for work, obviously basic questions that we all ask, taking notes and suggesting really intentional ideas based on what questions you ask them has helped me raise my UPT because I'm covering all aspects I like to hope for them for their wardrobe. So not just like the sport coats and the suits, but obviously like the jeans, the casual wear, all the nitty gritty stuff that builds the whole wardrobe so they feel really taken care of by what I do. So I think once I changed my mindset to building up the wardrobe and doing the wardrobe eval, that really helped me sell more clothes to new people.
Can you explain to people, sorry I didn't give you this question, can you explain to people the way that you keep all the details and the notes and have the wish list and kind of building on that relationship?
Yeah, I have I use a Notability app, and I have a little file for each client, and if anything's left on the table, I'll leave it on the wish list, and I'll let them know that I'm gonna show it to them next time I'm back to see them so they know it's coming. And I'm always opening up their file before I meet with them. I'll review it for 5 minutes just to like familiarize myself because I have a bad memory. So like what they like to do, stuff about them, like I said, the wives' names, kids' names, and I have the file for each of my people, which just helps me kind of stay organized. And I also, for clients that have been working with me for a while, instead of using like the written down wardrobe eval, if you probably use this just at the bottom, if you hit not the swatch, the wardrobe planner, it's like a virtual wardrobe planner for you. So I use that a lot. That helps me kind of see the gaps in the closet and where I can be filling in stuff every time I go see someone who might have a lot of clothing already from me.
Awesome. I feel lucky because I have a front row seat to watch your business grow. and I get to see the relationships with your clients, and you don't just sell them clothes, you have a deeper connection to them, like they're helping you with life, they're inviting you to parties. Can you give advice on how you kind of maintain that? And then I think it's through your relationship that you're able to have that high UPC. So how are you kind of building out that relationship?
Yeah, I feel like in this day and age, there's not a lot of services that are like very tailor-made to people. Like even for me, if I like go get like a facial or my hair done and my hairdresser remembers things about me, it feels really nice. And I don't think that there's a lot of things like that right now. So to be able to like go into someone's home or their office and get to be so like close and helping them with their confidence in their business, remembering details about them, I think is really important. And I think people I work with appreciate that. Even though I don't have the best memory, I try to make notes and remember things about them. So I think building out the relationship is really, really key on remembering certain things, making connections, and not just going in, making a sale and leaving, which would be really easy and a lot faster and more effective with time. But I think because I'm spending so much intentional time with my people when I see them, it helped kind of grow our trust and in the end, more money that they spent with me, I guess.
Sam, I happen to know you have a really specific routine, very dedicated to your habits. So could you run us through a day in the life for Sam Ham?
Sure. So I normally wake up at 5:30. I do a Pilates workout because it makes me feel really good. I'm trying to stop drinking so much Celsius. But then I'll go back home. I'll have like 40 minutes to like an hour to get ready and kind of collect my thoughts and get ready for the day. I really like that time in the morning, like to myself, to kind of like get ready and just kind of be alone in my thoughts. Every day I do my gratitudes and my little 5-minute journal. I write my goals down for the day. And I do a lot of manifesting, which a lot of people might think is kind of woo-woo, but it makes me happy. And I'll write down my goals a couple times in a row on a notebook that I have. I have like a bunch of different notebooks from being here for 28 months now. So I'll write down things about myself in the present tense that I want to become or get better at, goals that I want to achieve. And that has helped me, I think, just like subconsciously have goals in the back of my mind that have led me to be able to do cool things, I guess. And then I'm out seeing people, obviously, all day. It kind of just depends on the day. Sometimes I'll have a 0 day, and I know a lot of people say, no 0 days, but for me, I'm kind of like ebb and flowing, like whatever the energy that I'm in at the time, I'll try to like utilize that. If I have a ton of energy, I'm going out and hitting it hard, and if I don't, then I kind of give myself the grace to have a more chill day, whether that's booking appointments or kind of just getting organized. But if I'm in the mood to sell, I'm gonna get out and see people if I can.
Awesome. You are the queen of manifesting. I wrote that down. I think you touched on this part a lot, but you are, I would say, the brightest, like most positive person I've ever met.
Thank you.
It's very rare to see you like not believe in where you're going and what you're going to achieve. How do you maintain that positive self-talk?
Yeah. I think I've worked really hard on that. I've been like super insecure like most of my life. So I think like having built up the confidence from doing the things that I say I'm gonna do, especially in this career, has really, really helped me build my confidence like from 0 to like just so much now. I never thought I could feel like so secure with who I am and what I've done. I think it's just because I do what I say I'm gonna do, which makes me more confident, which makes me really happy. Something else is I'm just a very big believer in like energy, and I'm trying to always be in like a high vibrational frequency. And what that kind of means is that I'm in a place where I can attract other energies that are really positive, and I don't really want to be attracting anything that's negative or feeling negative. So if I'm in a bad headspace, I had a bad appointment, someone said something rude to me and it was kind of making me feel bad, I try to do something to kind of get out of that space. Obviously it's good to feel your negative feelings, but I don't want to be like ruminating in the negative. I have worked on that a lot. I used to ride the roller coaster of emotions when I started here, whether it was a great day, whether it was a shitty day, and now I'm kind of like very stable with my emotions, which I feel like helps me just be a better salesperson and run my business more effectively. So if I'm in a bad headspace or something bad happens to me, I try to like listen to a favorite song, or I'll go get a Starbucks iced coffee or a matcha or something that's small that makes me happy, to try to get out of that headspace to move forward in a more positive state of mind. So helps me.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Sam. Thanks for joining the podcast today.
Thanks.
We appreciate it. Sam Hammond, everyone.
Give me a little puppy.
All right, next up, let's get Ayman El-Shami up here, huh?
Welcome to
You
the
like
pod.
this? Pretty high production value podcast, so take a seat. Yeah, thanks. It's custom. It's not. It's from Target. Welcome, Ayman. Thanks for joining the podcast today. Feel free to take a seat, get comfy. I'm going to introduce Ayman real quick, if I may. So Ayman sells clothing out of our Atlanta office. Started with us in 2016. What I want to talk about, actually, and I'm going to pull this up, is his growth trajectory over the years. I think this is one of the most impressive things about Ayman. I'm not going to share my screen. I'm just going to walk you through something that I found when I looked up his numbers. So his first year, 2016, you started that year. Calendar year units were 99. 2017, calendar year units, 395. 2018, 750. 2019, 882. 2020, 953. That's growth in COVID. 2021, 1784. You functionally doubled your business in 1 year. 2022, get this, 2523. And year to date, you're already at 1276, which puts you on pace for Hayes this year, my friend. Very exciting. Now, Ayman's highest rolling 12 was actually in May of 23, at which he eclipsed 2,600 units. I happen to know that you and I are racing together to hit Hayes this fall. Ayman also is in leadership. You have a team of 4 currently, with 1 more starting next month, correct? Mm-hmm. Awesome. So Ayman, tell us about that growth trajectory. I'm curious, what have you been focused on over the years?
Well, my highest rolling 12 being at 2,600 is more than Brett Denmark, by the way, so make sure we keep that clear. Anyways, I think about over the year, I feel like my first 2 years were just like figuring out the job. And then I think in 2019, when things started to shift, I think it was like after I hit President's Club or President's Honor Club, that's when things started to get like fun and I guess serious. And then ever since then, I just focused on kind of growing season over season. But there was a shift that happened, I'd say, in the beginning of 2019, where I just decided to like try, I guess you could say. Like the first year and a half, like I was living with my 4 best friends. It was kind of like college 2.0, but that only lasted for like a year and a half. So I think once that shift changed is when like really my Tom James journey started, and that started to get fun. So it was just trial and error really. I started doing the deal, making phone calls, asking for referrals, and just like adjusting and pivoting every season at the end of the season, figuring out what's working, what's not working, and then just making those adjustments every season, and it's been working. It's been fun. It's been kind of cool.
Awesome. You've been averaging just shy of 40 transactions a month this year. What kind of habits do you hold yourself to? So
I was thinking about this. I don't really like focus on any specific habits, I would say, but I will tell you the 3 things. This is what the filter I run everything through. I only eventually want to be like in front of someone selling them clothing. Like that's our job, right? That's how we get paid for the most part. And so if I'm not in a one-on-one with my team or meeting with my assistant or like driving to go see a client to sell clothing, then I'm booking appointments. And that's like, I feel like if anyone adopted that one habit, like just run the filter through those three things. If you don't have a team, even better, you got more time. But like if it's between like 8 and 5 or whatever, like pick your number. like that's the only thing that you're doing. You're either showing cloth, selling clothes, or you're focusing on booking up your next day or next 2 days. And that's just I don't have any like specific habits, but like that's the filter I run everything through. And I think if anybody does that, they'll grow this season. But
The intentionality.
Exactly, yeah. And then obviously other stuff needs to get done. So like the orders, the alterations, all that stuff. Like if you have an assistant, you delegate it. So and come up with systems to do that. If you don't, then I would just do it outside of those hours. And then I just go to work on like, all right, what am I doing that's not those two things? Like what I'll audit for this season is like, all right, last season, what did I do that wasn't driving to a client in a one-on-one with my team or selling clothing? And then that'll go on a list, and then I'll figure out how to delegate that. So like that's just, you know what I mean? Like that's the filter I run it all through.
That's awesome. Looking at your numbers, what's interesting is that while you are up in sales, what stands out the most is actually your UPC growth. Now, just for context, UPC is units per client per year. So how much is he selling each client on average within a year? So just for context, this time last year, you had 231 rolling clients at a 9.4 UPC. This time, now, you're at 220 clients, but your UPC is up to 11.76. So what are you doing to develop your clientele and grow with them?
So it's interesting. I'm actually kind of pissed about that. I wish I'm not happy that my rolling 12's down. So, but I think it was in Brent Balance's session, which like really hit home for me. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but let me see if I can find it. It was something along the lines of like, you might not always hit your goals, but you'll always be at the standard that you see yourself.
Hit your standards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, so I saw myself this year at 2,600, and my way of doing that was just through 11.76 UPC at 220 clients. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could have been 250 at a 10, but it doesn't matter. That's not the point, right? The point is I saw myself at 2,600, and that's how my business, how it's set up now, that's just how it worked out for me, And so that's fine. It scares me a little bit because I don't think that's sustainable. I think it is for some people, but I would rather have a clientele of, 250, 275, 300 plus at that UPC of around 12. Yeah. So the cool part about that, though, is like that's like super controllable, right? So it's like that's what I'm going to go to work on, right? It's like, all right, 250 clients at a 12 UPC. That's Hayes.
Yep.
So like all I'm focusing on is getting that 220 to 250 and that 11.76 to 12. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, love it.
You're a recent father to Aiden. Yep, there we go. Cool claps.
Yeah.
How have things changed for you with parenthood?
Aiden's the man. I'm 2 months into parenthood, so I don't have much to report back. It's crazy. It really is. But yeah, he's awesome. I love him, and we're just still figuring things out.
And I also happen to know, being friends with you, you're a pretty big believer in our stock. So tell us about how that might play into your vision for your career and your future here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, going back to like 2019 when I was kind of like on the edge of like, all right, what's going on? Am I going to be here? Am I not? Like, is this for me kind of thing? I took a weekend and thought about like what I did want out of a career. It was freedom, flexibility of schedule, leadership opportunity, and then like net worth and financial opportunity. And then I realized sitting there that I was where I needed to be.
Yeah.
But anyways, the net worth part of that was super important to me. So I don't really know the ins and outs of it too much about our stock program, but what I do know is that there's a lot of smarter people, a lot more, shows how smart I am. I don't even know how to say that.
That was good.
But smarter people than I am that are here. And I trust them. I trust my leadership team, and I trust my leader, Ryan, Brant, and Brett. I'm like, all right, if they're digging into this, if they have, stock payments that are double, quadruple their mortgage. It's like they're not doing that to just throw it away, you know? And so that's kind of a big reason why I pour into it just as much as I can. And then just seeing the history of our company's growth. Like if you just look at our stock price from however far it goes back, like it stayed flat a couple years, but it's never gone down. Like it's like dumb not to, I feel like. I don't know. But
Now tell us about some takeaways from this meeting, like anything you're going to implement that's going to help you get to that 250 in Hayes.
There's a lot of technical stuff that I still have to go back through still. But Brent's session, thank you, Brent, was very impactful to me. I do think the standard part of it I've never heard it said that way, but it's so true. And so I just need to raise my standard to 3,000 now. And it's the same way I got to President's Club and to cabinet and chairman's and to where I am now. A lot of the people that I talk to and have the opportunity to lead, I tell them the same thing. It's like, tell yourself you're a 100-unit producer. Tell yourself you sell 150 units a month. Like, you'll start doing that activity naturally if you tell yourself that. So I don't really have many technical sides of it, but like that, I think in and itself is going to help me come up with the right questions, come up with the right things, and takeaways that I need to implement this season to get there. So plan for this season, 3,000 by September. I need 290 a month for that. It's 48 transactions out of 6 UPT, 72 and a half units a week, 12 transactions, 2 new clients, 250 clients that are at a 12 UPC. And then Cheyenne's been helping out with our small group this season, and she's helped our group focus on a daily dollar goal. And so I've never been a fan of that. It always stressed me out. I hate group text, like texting all the time. I'm like so against it, like not my thing. But I gave in. I was like, all right, if she's doing it, it's got to work. Like I'm kind of just like if someone tells me to do something, I'll just do it. I feel like I'm pretty good in that end. So I trusted the process, and it's really helped. So thank you, Cheyenne, for that. So $7,600 a day is kind of what that's going to focus on, or what I'm going to focus on.
Awesome.
All right, man.
For you.
See you in Paris.
All
Love
right,
it.
thanks.
Thank you, Eamon.
Next up, we'd like to invite up Barry Helms. Barry leads our Mobile, Alabama office with an organization of 6. Barry runs a president's cabinet level business and currently serves 153 clients at a 7.75 UPC. Barry has been at Tom James for 364 months.
That is a year's worth of months, by the way.
Known as the nicest man at Tom James, please help us welcome Barry Helms.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So Barry, you've been here for 30 years. So I'm just curious, what has Tom James provided for you in life?
It's been great. I first started out selling books with Southwestern, and I always liked the company. As I interviewed with other companies when I was in college, I always kept coming back to Tom James, and I liked the principles and the people. And it has provided a lifestyle that, with flexibility, a nice home, around great friends, great people. And I think a lot of it had to do, with me, with kind of matching my beliefs as far as the principles of the company, the ethics, and the way we do things. It was something that just kind of matched me that I felt real good and at home with. So it helped me to build my business to where I could have the lifestyle that I wanted to have and be at peace with myself. So
I have to assume, as a person that's been here 12 years, there's been quite a few struggles. Through your tenure, I'm sure you've seen kind of changes at Tom James, changes in your life. What has been your reason to stay?
Well, when I first started, '93 is when I started, and I never will forget this. This was probably the end of '93 after about a year being in the business. I guess the honeymoon phase had kind of worn off for making phone calls and doing the deal. I was in a golf tournament. It was the White Outfit Club with the University of Alabama, and it was happened to be teamed up with a guy named John Myrick, who was a regional director of Alpha Insurance. And when I was there, he's, an older gentleman, probably in his 60s at the time, and here I was 25. And as we were playing golf, he said, Barry, he says, I want to tell you something. He said, I've been in insurance and built this business, and what you need to do is just be able to put blinders on your eyes and not look at what's going on with your friends and their life and all the ups and downs of what's going on with them. But he said, you focus on your business. He said, if you focus on your business and build your business, and you do that for 5 years, and even when Carl Ham hired me, we talked about a 2-year and a 5-year plan, but after the honeymoon in a year, you kind of feel like you're not sure if you made the right decision. But he said, just keep the blinders on, keep working regardless of what's going on around you. And he said, if you do that, then your customers and what you build in business will take care of you for the next 25. And that's one of the things that kind of really stood out with me. Then probably again, I was probably about 7 or 8 years into the business. There was a time when John Saney was my #1 customer at the time. I was having a rough day. Everybody canceled. I think I had several returns, and it was just had been an ugly 2 or 3 days in a row, back to back. And I was like most of us, you kind of start feeling sorry for yourself and not feel like that you can kind of go the next foot forward. And I happened to be seeing him, and he said, what's up? He said, you're not yourself today. And I kind of just told him a little bit. And he says, I want to show you something. And we were in a building that was about 8 stories high. He had some binoculars over at the window, and there was another building being built about 2 blocks away you could see, and it was in August, and it was so hot like it's hot right now. And he says, I want you to look at the guys that are working on that building. And so we looked through the scope. We could see the people handling, and it was about 95, 97 degrees. Heat index was like 115, and there's these roofers working on a commercial roofing building. And he looked at me and he said, look, you get to call on the busiest, most successful people on the whole Gulf Coast. He said, you go to the nicest air-conditioned offices, you get to drive an air-conditioned car, you get to do all these things. And he was just reminding me what I needed to be reminding myself of with my affirmations. And I was just like, you're right. And so that was another time that it was a kind of pivoting point about, like, I do have a good deal, I do have a good program, I need to stay at it. And that was one of the times, one of the other pivoting points I had.
Love it. Now, you've just hired your son, if I'm not mistaken, yes, Caleb?
Yes.
So that's awesome. So what does it mean to you to continue on legacy in Tom James, and how's that been for you?
It feels wonderful. Like I'd mentioned earlier, how I sold books with Southwestern, and when I was interviewing with a lot of different companies and stuff and kept coming back to the principles, I've always enjoyed the principles, the foundation, the character, integrity, doing, like Dave Weichel says, the character traits and integrity. It's just good, positive influence. And when we're all calling on multiple kind of businesses in different fields, different industries, and we can kind of see their dynamics of their office and the dynamics of their business and who they see and what they do and when they travel and what it's like. And, I kind of do compare a little bit like we all naturally do, but I am excited to have Caleb because, to me, ours is really the best foundation and the best people, best character, best integrity. So it's very influential, but I think it helps us to be our best, about who we want to become, who we want to be, what we want to have. And I'm so thankful that Caleb gets a chance. He's been around it for 26 years now, and for the first 23 years of his life, he's like, I'll never do this. I'll never do this. But I know Reagan had been talking with him for a long time, and then Amanda, and I just kind of stayed out of it. Because as we know, it has to be up to us individually if this is what we want to do. And so I didn't really try to push it on him, but just let him see what's going on. And then he really spent a lot of time with Reagan and Amanda to see if this was the right decision for him. And I'm so grateful he's here and that he can be surrounded by great people and being the best of himself.
Now, you've seen Tom James go through quite a bit too. In what ways have you seen Tom James grow for the better?
Oh gosh, there's probably been 4 or 5 different what I call major phases. When I first started in '93, they had, I think it was Steve Adelsberg, I had heard at my very first meeting that had come out with the Lifeline book, and that was like revolutionary, the Lifeline book about referrals at that time in '93. But after that, I think the next phase, or before that, we were still faxing orders to the factories. We'd have to individually write up, like the shirt order would go to IS and write up the EA order, and it would go to EA, and we had to do each individual one. There was no computers, so we had Rolodexes, and so we had to keep up everything by paper. So when we started getting the computers and the CRM, that was one of the big changes, having the CRM that would automatically send everything out for us. So that was one of the big phases, I think, that made a big difference. The other one was probably, oh gosh, there's been several different times. I think with the next one that was real significant for everybody is when John Talley, we were at a meeting probably 10 years ago, 10 or 12 years ago, and I had just bought an iPad. Well, John Talley had bought one, and at the leaders meeting, and he had already downloaded all his shoe catalogs. He went and had them scanned and put in and all that, and he was just showing me. I'm like, ooh, this is the way to go. And so he presented it. At that time, it was called Owner's Voice, and that was kind of like the grassroots division of Tom James at that time. And so he presented to that, and then he was able to present it again to the leaders. And after John Talley did that, that's when they implemented the iPad. And so that was a major significant change, and it took probably 15 or 20 pounds out of our bags, so they won't have to carry a suitcase around wherever we go. The next thing is probably with the VOE. That's been a great tool to have to make it easier in our selections, and I think it just kind of bumps us that much further advanced where we can do things a lot more efficient for our business.
Last question for you is really just what advice would you give the room with maybe talking to new people who haven't yet decided that this is going to be their forever career?
Well, I think I was the kind of person that I liked goals, and I was influenced with them with Southwestern, and I was always more of a long-term thinker rather than present tense, and my wife's helped me to be more present tense. But I knew I'd had a goal for long-term business building and wealth, and John Holland at the time was our divisional leader, and he did a lot about stock projections, and that really meant a lot to me, of doing stock projections about the kind of life you can have. And there was another session probably 8 or 10 years ago, maybe longer than that. Dave Weichel had shared that what's made the difference between this salesperson and this one, and they said, well, he stayed. And so you build wealth by starting out the career, getting the President's Club as quick as you can, keep growing from there, being a part of the company, building your business, getting the stock, and then after about 10 years of having stock, you really see at that point of, no, this is real money. This makes a big difference, and it helps solidify the long-term growth by knowing to just stay the course regardless of what's going on. Whether if it's housing crisis, going on, if it's the BP oil spill, if we have COVID, there's going to be different seasons in life that we all have. And I think if you just stay the course, it makes a big difference. But a lot of it comes back to our own personal goals and what we want.
Awesome. Thank you, Barry.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, let's make sure to thank Sam, Eamon, and Barry. Love that. All right, next up, we got a pretty exciting segment. We're about to hear from some Tom James customers.
Guys, how cool is it that we get to work with the clients that we do? In a single day, I get to see a guy that refers to himself as the Titan of titles, the Lord of mortgages. Then I get to go see a plastic surgeon, an owner of a very large sports team in Boston, a CEO of a massive company, and a small business owner and a construction guy. The relationship we form with our clients is pretty special. And we're having a couple of our clients come to speak on what that means to them. We get to have a little bit of a glimpse into our day-to-day life and provide more context to what we do.
We're going to bring them up in just one moment, but just to let you all know who we have here, we've got Herb Gainey, okay? And Herb is a client. He's been working with Tom James for 6 years now with Steve Adelsberg. We're going to actually have him and Steve come to stage. Herb is the president and CEO of Digital Enterprise Solutions. He's an executive in the defense industry here in Maryland. We also have Mr. Alan Wilson, who is a dear client of mine. Alan and I have been working together for 7 years now. Alan is a really sharp young attorney. He actually has a JD and is a licensed CPA, is counsel in the DC office of Wilmer Hale, and works in corporate insecurities, if I'm not mistaken. So guys, let's welcome him, please.
Nice to meet you.
Alan.
Nice to meet you. Good. Right in the middle, Steve.
This thing still work? All right, good. All right, y'all. Herb, we can start with you. Can you introduce us to you and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yes, my name is Herb Gainey. I've been working with Steve for about 6 years now. I am the president and CEO of a small defense contracting IT firm, and we can talk about that with Tom James later as well. I don't know if I'm going to steal the thunder here, but this is a face only a mother could love, so I had to do something to distract people from it. So that's why I started really getting into custom clothing. I'm a huge soccer fan. I was a professional soccer coach as well, coached in college, and been 30 years in this industry, working for the Navy, all 30 years.
Excellent. Alan?
So I've been working with Milo for 7 years. I'm a corporate securities attorney in DC. I've been doing that for about a decade and serviced Fortune 500 companies and have really benefited from having the professional clothing that really kind of sets you apart from an appearance perspective when dealing with clients. It's truly been a helpful boost to the business.
Awesome. And then to Steve and Milo, I'll ask you both, what can you say about your relationships with your clients on stage?
Yeah. Alan, you might not know this, but you're one of my top clients. You have been for a while since we started working together. And what I've liked is I think we're similar people. And every time I see you, we can relate to what we're working on, to our life. You've given me counsel on cars and homes. I like hanging out with you. And it's fun that you do buy nice clothes. You're wearing a gorgeous wool silk linen Royal Classic suit today, by the way. Doesn't he look good? But it's just so much more than that. And I just love seeing you. I mean, you live like an hour and 20-minute drive from me, and I still love the drive. And it's fun getting out there and seeing you and just seeing how you live and what you do. Also, you're very successful. And it's fun that when we started working together, you were a second-year associate, perhaps.
Yep.
And I'm just watching you grow. And I know when you've given me referrals in the past, how people respond to your name. And it's really cool being able to work with someone who is growing with me in life. And it's been an awesome relationship.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And frankly, it's been mutually rewarding for me as well. And I think, in the earlier panel, we talked about taking the time to engage with your clients and get to know them. And you've done that since we started, which I think has been really a way to set you apart from others that I've worked with in the past. And really, the service that you provide is truly kind of remarkable. From the lifestyle that I live, I think you understand. I work 100 hours a week and have little to no time to actually put myself together. And I always get complimented for how well I present. And that really is thanks to you and the Tom James Company.
Love that.
The interesting part about Herb is I actually started selling his brother. Phil Gainey, who owns a restaurant called, yeah, I always get confused between that and crab bombs, called Jerry's Seafood, which is actually, 20 minutes from here? They're known for their crab bombs. And the other thing, it's really, really neat, is I can't even keep track of how many Gainies that I work with. It's like 8 or 9 of them. And the thing that I will tell you, working here for 32 years, is you got to treat everybody the same way. Okay? It doesn't matter the amount of clothing they buy. It's irrelevant. You treat them all the same way, give them the best service, and ultimately what happens is you just grow within the family. And that's what's happened with me and the Gainies. And you see how hard this family works. Because the restaurant business, as many of us know, it's a pretty difficult business, and it's pretty labor intensive. I still don't know what he does. He doesn't tell me. So, but it's just, again, is the relationship that we get to have with our clients. And it's really not even about selling clothing. That's just something that we provide a service to. But the personal aspect of that relationship that you really get to learn and understand. And the thing I always say is when you go see somebody, and again, for you younger people, I think we spend about 10, 15 minutes about clothing, and everything else is about just kind of having fun and enjoying that time. So.
So I guess I'm curious, how did you first become a customer? I guess we have sort of an answer from her, but whether it's relationship or cold call or whatnot. I think the reason I'm asking this is I want to give some context for people out here who are building our businesses, hearing from the customers themselves. How did we find you? And what has it been like developing from that first meeting to being a loyal customer of yours?
So, at least for me anyway, you, I think, had cold called me based upon a referral from somebody at the firm. You had worked with one of my colleagues, and you'd mentioned his name in the call, and then we had an initial meeting when you went through the services that you had offered, and I think I bought a suit immediately on the first time, and then it just continued to return.
Suit, shirt, and tie, EC. That's right. I remember all my orders.
So like Steve said, it all started with my brother, who's about 5'2" and built like a whiskey barrel. So it's very difficult for him to buy anything off the rack. But long story short, he kept hounding me about it because he said, "Look, man, you dress well all the time." Excuse me. You dress well all the time, but if you got these clothes that fit you the way that a clothier can fit you, you're going to feel even more like $1 million than you do already. The problem that I had is that I've been married for 42 years to a farm girl. And when I said, "Honey, I'm going to start buying custom clothes and they're going to cost X dollars," she said, "No, you're not." But once we broke the ice and built the relationship with Steve, and he started fitting me with both casual clothes and suits and sport coats and slacks and so forth, she realized, holy Jesus, you do look like $1 million, and that's where it all began, really.
Amazing. Doubleheader question a little bit for you guys. Why Tom James? Why do you work with us? And then can you give us a little context for your relationship with your clothiers?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, it's really a multifold answer, which is the quality is there, which is key. That's first. The product has to be good. And the second is the service, right, which is really even better than the product. As I mentioned, I don't have time to match and pull together clothes. And so building the relationship and having the network that you have to build those connections and an understanding of the needs that I have, I think really set you apart. And I keep coming back because Milo has a really good intuitive sense about what it is I need to be wearing, even though he pushes the envelope a little bit, which I appreciate.
Wait till this new order comes in. Sorry.
but I think it's that repeat business that we've developed because, I'm continuing to build out a wardrobe that continues to function as I grow in my career and really reflects, the image that I need to present. And really is reflective of the talent that Milo has in terms of pulling that together and thinking about the broader picture.
I appreciate all that, and thank you. This means a lot to me. But I do have a follow-up question for you. We sell a commodity. You can buy clothing anywhere, and you can buy cheaper clothing in a lot of places too. And I think we should address the elephant in the room that our competitive advantage likely generally is not price. So I guess I'm curious. Like there are those advantages, but why are you still with us? I guess is the question. I don't know. You sort of answered it, but I guess I'm really curious. Like, but why us? Because obviously we have this, but you could get a suit of Men's Warehouse.
Sure, but I think at the end of the day,
I mean, don't, but you
yeah,
could.
no.
Please, God, do not do that.
I've never been there.
Okay, good.
No, but I mean, your services are sticky, right? At the end of the day, my measurements, they don't really change, thankfully, and so I don't ever have to go through the process again, of reintroducing myself, building a new relationship, or going to somewhere off the rack to buy something and then going and getting it tailored. There's a lot of transaction costs and efficiency.
Yep.
And at least for my lifestyle anyway, I don't have time for any of that. So the fact that I can have a 30-minute meeting with you, you know exactly what I need, and then it comes in, it fits, it's perfect, and then we repeat the process. It's really quite fabulous. And if I need anything off cycle, I give you a call and you know what I need, and it takes 5 seconds. And that's the difference, and that's the built-in value in your pricing model that reflects the value that I perceive and is why I'm still here.
Awesome.
Yeah, a lot of the same, really, but simple for me. Steve makes it easy. I mean, he just makes it extremely easy. Between the meetings, he's flexible, comes to me sometimes I go to him. We have a lot of conversations on the phone, a lot of funny conversations on the phone, because I do beat him up a lot. But at the end of the day, my time is money. That's the way I look at it. As a business owner, and the way I try to explain things to my employees, your time's money, right? So exactly what was just said, I really don't want to go into the retail stores flipping through racks anymore. Like, I'm done with that. It's just easy when I can go to Steve, he pulls up on the iPad, hey, here's what we've ordered in the past, here are the new fabrics that are out, hey, from a seasonal perspective. And working with me as well, even though I'm 60 years old, at times he goes, dude, you're like out there sometimes. It's like, you want custom colors this, you want that, and it's easy because I can get that. The beautiful thing is, look, if I want a navy blue jacket with chartreuse buttonholes, I can get it. I'm not going to get that off the rack, right? So that's pretty much it. I mean, I can get my stuff custom the way I want it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katie. Can you think of this is going to be a painful question for me, I guess, but tell us a time when things didn't go well. What happened? Where did we mess up? What maybe wasn't something you wanted? Maybe a garment that you trusted us on and maybe you don't wear it? What happened? And how did we move past it? And why are you still here?
Yeah. So, I mean, there have been no fatal issues, obviously. Solid. I mean, and as I say, we've pushed the envelope on a few things, and really it's, feeling out the comfort zone as really COVID changed what I wore for a period of time, which was kind of interesting as I tried to adapt. And so there were a pair of chinos or something that we ordered that I don't wear that frequently, and we've not ordered them again. They were purple or some other loud color. I don't know.
Sorry.
And I was like, of course, sure, I'll wear that. And then I pull them out, and I'm like, I'm not wearing this to the office. Like, good Lord, I wear blue every day. But but again, it was totally fine because I have them, and I'm sure there will be one occasion where I wear them. Maybe.
Probably not. Honestly, dude, we're the same size. I can take them.
But no, it was totally fine, and we talked about it, and we've adapted, and I've just not ordered them again, and it's great.
That works.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I'm still with Tom James, honestly, because very seldom does anything go wrong, and if it does, it's quickly taken care of. Maybe a jacket or two came in that were tighter than I expected or looser than I expected, and say something to Steve, and it gets rectified instantly. So I mean, that's a huge value prop to me. So again, I don't have to run back to a store. I don't have to run to a tailor. I don't have to do all of that. It's 1-800-STEVE Adelsberg, and it gets taken care of.
In your perspective as loyal Tom James customers, what's the value in continuing to work with us? You know, maybe as your career evolves, or like you said, COVID and things like that happened, changed the way you dressed.
Yeah, I mean, it's having the flexibility in the relationship to call on Milo whenever I need, a different piece in the wardrobe, and really to continue to have basically the efficiency in terms of building it out. Because as we've said, I think throughout, we're all very busy, and the idea that I don't have to go through another person or go to a store and haven't been to a store in years to buy clothes is really kind of impressive, at least from a professional perspective. And it keeps my image on brand as it relates to the work I do at the firm, and has continued to grow with me, which I think is really quite a testament to the survivability of the company.
Yeah, for me, when I first started working with Tom James, I was 25 pounds heavier as well. So the clothes have gotten smaller now, thank goodness. So again, the value for me is the flexibility. Also, when I first started, I was meeting with clients a lot. Like, I was meeting with my government customers face-to-face a lot, and then COVID hit. And so now we work from home 90% of the time, and because I own an IT company, if we can't work from home, nobody can work from home. So I don't see them as much, so I changed my wardrobe, as Steve can attest to. So I stopped buying suits and really started going into a lot more jackets and mixing and matching things, because I do wear what you see me wearing today at work, even though I'm sitting at home behind a computer. I go on camera for all virtual meetings on purpose, because I want that face-to-face situation. And when I go on camera and I look the way that I do, people comment about it all the time. So it's important to me to have that kind of reputation that, hey, look, he's sharp and clean, the company is sharp and clean, and that's just the reputation that I want.
Awesome. I have a short question for you guys. Least favorite, purple pants, we know. Do you have a favorite piece of clothing that you've purchased from us? And maybe Steve and Milo can also touch on maybe something they remember selling you.
I mean, from a longevity perspective, the Royal Navy classic suit that I have, I think was the first one that I purchased.
Oh, yeah.
I have gotten the longest use out of. I mean, it's durable and it looks great every time I wear it. So
Yeah.
that's an incredible piece. This is actually one of the funner pieces that I think we've put together.
Yeah.
Which I realize is not terribly fun in your world, but is, for my world, this is really outside the box.
I dig it. You look good. You've outdressed your clothier today, so I'll take that too. Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite piece is a navy blue double-breasted blazer that Steve did not want me to get.
Guys, sell Navy.
But I do, I got red buttonholes on it. I got special buttons on it. I got the red stitch lapels. So that's my favorite piece. And I do wear it a lot. With jeans, I wear it with slacks. I wear it with a T-shirt under it. So that's my favorite piece.
If you need any more, we just got new fabrics, by the way. So, I'm curious. What would you say to us, a room full of Tom James people who want to go out there? We're hungry. We're coming off this meeting with big goals. We're going to go out there and try to build our business this season, and we're going to want to get clients like you, and we haven't met them yet. So I guess I'm curious, for context, some people in this room have been here 35 years, some people have been here for 2 months, and it spans the gamut. Is there any advice you'd give us?
I would say it really is, it's a relationship business, right? And so focusing on that and keeping that as your number one priority and building the relationships is critical. In my experience, the business will follow if you invest the time up front. Don't really get defeated by any losses, and really keep that long-term focus as it relates to building those client relationships and networks. Because over time, and this is a long-time business, right? I think that you'll see the outcome and really the rewards financially, personally, professionally, and in all the ways.
Yeah, and actually Steve touched on this earlier, and I think it's a fantastic point. I think treating all the customers the same, whether it's a customer that's spending $5,000 a year versus $50,000 a year, I don't think you should treat them differently, because I think if you stick to your guns and you work with that person that's spending $5,000 a year, it'll go to 6, it'll go to 7. I mean, over time, it'll grow. And also the flexibility in what you're putting them in, right? Having the mindset that, hey, look, I don't need to always stick them in a 3-piece suit, or I don't always need to stick them in this kind of fabric, and trying to be flexible and working with them. And especially the casual clothes. I think the casual clothes can be a big hit for you guys to really focus on. I can tell you that myself and all 4 of my sons all buy Tom James now, and the 3 of the 4 are buying nothing but casual clothes right now. So it's a big thing to focus on, but really, whether it's the little guy or the big guy, you really should be trying to treat them the same and make them feel like $1 million. And that's what this fool does.
Can I say something?
Please.
We're almost finished here, so we're out of here around noon. And again, I want you guys to think about one thing, okay? Think about one thing. It's relationships. It's relationships you have with your clients. And treat them with respect. I mean, he and I kid around all the time on the phone, but at the end of the day, I mean, I know a lot about his family. He knows a lot about my family. Good things, bad things. And that's important, and it takes time. It takes time. But you got to put that time into those relationships. Okay? It will evolve. I mean, you're hearing what Barry talked about, being here 30 years. I've been here 32 years. Without what we got sitting to my right and left, we have nothing. We have nothing. These customers are vital to our company. And I take that very seriously. And partly, too, is it's our reputation in our cities. We have a lot of young people in our cities that we work in, and ultimately, I want to leave Baltimore and D.C. a better place. We know what the streets are like when they run into somebody and they haven't had a good experience with our company. And it happens. So just remember, okay? Remember to take care of your relationships.
I think at Tom James we talk a lot about vision, goals, commitment. And in my life, when I've had exposure to very successful clients that I get the honor and privilege to work with, they do a lot of the same things that Tom James has taught us. So if you two don't mind, if you could share a little bit about how you do project out where you're going and what you want, and how you make sure that you're achieving that for yourselves.
Yeah, so I mean, mine is pretty rigid in that I do a kind of a 5-factor goals analysis twice a year. So every New Year's and then 4th of July, I do in 5 quadrants of life: personal, professional, spiritual, financial. And I set specific goals, right? I'm a business guy at heart, so they're SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, results-oriented, and timely. And you basically set deadlines for each of them, and you measure your progress every 6 months, and really manifest the life you want to live. And historically, if you do that and you continue to look back over time, you'll accomplish them 9 times out of 10.
Alan, I didn't know that. That's so cool. That's so cool. By the way, Alan's actually running the next national meeting for us.
Yeah, I don't know how I follow that one. Jeez. I mean, very similar, of course, as a business owner. I mean, we're looking to grow. When I bought the company back in 2010, there were 6 employees, very small company, and now there's 96 employees. And thank you. And it's all revenue, and that means no different than Tom James, right? So I'm looking to grow. I'm actually looking at an exit strategy at my age now. But it's all about looking at those goals. And I'm in a little bit of a different situation as a president of an IT company. I'm not the guy that sits in the corner office working on the business, believe it or not. I'm actually in developing solutions for the Navy, technical solutions for the Navy. So I'm in with my sleeves rolled up, and I have a great COO and business staff. But we meet monthly on all of our goals. We've just initiated a brand new 5-year plan. So that's important. It's important for you as individuals in your own businesses as well to make sure that you are putting a roadmap out there for what you think you want and how it's going to be achievable. And the young lady earlier was amazing with a lot of the little things that she talked about that she does. And you have to remember this as well. As individual business owners, you have to take some personal time. You do. And like she was saying, she needed that personal time in the morning. You need to find that for yourself, or you will drive yourself crazy and you will drive yourself out of your own business. So we have really instituted that in our company as well. And it's just very, very important.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah. I guess I'm out of questions. This has been amazing. Any final thoughts from you guys about either your Tom James experience, your experience professionally? I mean, we look up to our clients in a lot of ways. You guys have already given us great knowledge and wisdom, but before we let you go, I guess, is there anything else you'd want to share to a room full of Tom James partners?
Honestly, it's continuing to build, with the reputation that you have and making sure that everybody's hewing closer to that culture. Culture is incredibly important, and I think that it's critical that you keep a watchful eye in terms of how you continue to grow, that you maintain that culture and integrity to ensure that you continue to grow through the referral business.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's about the relationships. Steve knows that my parents are very ill. And he's actually picked up the phone and called me just to check on them at times as well. So that personal relationship is key. So trying to build those personal relationships and getting to the level that your clients are going to share some of their personal and interpersonal things with you, you know that you're doing well at that point. And you're going to be able to build not only your business, but you are going to be able to build that relationship. And that relationship is what's going to give you longevity.
Alan, Herb, thank you so much. This is incredible. We appreciate it. Everybody, come on. Hey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate this. Thank you so much, man. This means a lot.
Thank you so much.
And before they leave the stage, by the way, Herb, one moment before you leave the stage, you guys each are gifted 2 Tom James custom shirts. And so I will see you next week, and you'll pick them out. Guys, this is a Saturday morning, and they came here. How awesome is that?
I mean, can I say it again? Our job is really cool.
Yeah. So, Amber, I think it's time for a quick word from our sponsors.
Oh, yes. Milo, I am obsessed with my new Brooklinen bed sheets.
Oh, really?
Nothing is better after a long day of selling to get in my cozy new luxe satin bed sheet in warm gray. I've never slept better. With a luxurious 480 thread count and a slightly luminescent finish, these are the perfect bedding upgrades. Or you can all get ready for fall with our new ultra soft flannel bedsheet bundle. Get 1 fitted sheet, 1 flat sheet, 4 pillowcase, and a duvet cover for only $280. Go for the classic cabin vibe or modernize it with your own flair. Our brushed 100% cotton flannel is easy enough for every day, but gives your bedroom just a touch of prep. Head to brookslinen.com today and use code GRATITUDE to get 20% off.
We are supported by HelloFresh. Amber, my wife, and I absolutely love our HelloFresh meals. With fresh, pre-portioned ingredients, they're so easy to make. Plan a backyard barbecue with friends. Build a salad with summer produce that travels from farm to door in 7 days or less. You can choose calorie-smart, protein-smart, vegan, or vegetarian options with, get this, 40 recipes every week, so you never get bored. Get your meals on a new level with HelloFresh. Head to HelloFresh.com/Nucci and use promo code Don'tRackYourBrain to receive 3 field meals with free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Thank you. Do not tell George Stoner we just did that, please.
And now, the sponsor who truly keeps the lights on, don't rack your brain, it's Mr. Steve Nucci.
Thank you. Great job. Thank you, Scotty. Good morning, everyone. It is, I don't know if you feel this way or not, but it is just humbling to watch this entire thing go on. It's humbling because to think about how well Amber and Milo have put together this session with a team of Michelle and Ari and Ashley and Aaron, it's just humbling to watch. And y'all, I just want, on behalf of our group, to thank them. Would you show them how much you appreciate what they're doing? Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. And I don't know about you, but I mean, the level of gratitude that I feel for our clients. I mean, Alan and Herb, I imagine you've probably left. You want to get on with your Saturday. But thank you so much for taking the time on a Saturday to come and share. We were just watching back there and commenting. That was, at least personally, one of the best sessions that I've seen us do. To get that other perspective and hear how they see what we're doing. As you're coming off of a meeting like this and thinking about what you want to do, what you learned, how you're going to apply, I just feel like it's such a great opportunity for us to just see through their eyes for a second what we get to do. Will this go if I hit it? There we go. So, unlimited. By definition, unlimited means unrestricted, boundless, infinite, and that you can have as much or as many of what you want. Pause and let that marinate for just a second. As you think about this meeting and all that you've learned, our theme of unlimited means we can have as much or as many of whatever we want. So this week, as you're sitting there and you're reflecting on this sort of fire hose of information that we receive, we had customer day on Thursday, and we had sales day, client day on Friday. What did you decide this week? What did you really decide? Here's what, as you consider that question in detail, here's what I would ask. I really want you to lean in for just a second with me. If the definition of unlimited is unrestricted, boundless, infinite, and that we can have as much or as many of whatever we want, relationships, club levels, opportunities, income, net worth, what I would ask is, what's holding us back from achieving all that we currently have or are? Just reflect for a second. As you think about the week and you watch the presentations and you've heard all the information that you've heard, what's holding you back from achieving? If we truly believe that our opportunity is unlimited, that we can be, do, and have whatever we would like, that we can achieve the things that we want to become in this career and in our life, what's holding you back? My own experience has taught me that it's not ability. Everyone in here has shown that. You have tremendous ability. You wouldn't have been hired if you weren't. It's not about that we can't learn more, or it's not necessarily about becoming more efficient and effective. We've all seen that happen, right? You've literally watched people become in front of you. My own experience has taught me that it's not ability, it's not about learning more, it's not necessarily about time. My observation is it really comes down to our own self. The only limitation we have to this unlimited opportunity is it's our thinking, it's our vision of ourselves, what we think we can achieve, do, be, and have. Becoming unlimited in our results and our achievements, our worth, our value is only limited by us. I wish I could tell you it was something else. I wish I could tell you it was a circumstance. I wish I could tell you it's an obstacle. Because then, in a sense, we or me or your team, your leadership could help you fix it. But as you're reflecting on this week, as you're considering what you want to do this season, the only limitation is us and our thinking. Max Potter, I thought last night, had an amazing quote in his PC speech. I hope that you caught it. But he said, "Not fulfilling your potential is an insult to those who believe in you." And not only did I write it down, but it literally just struck me right at my heart. Turning 60 this year, my last child, our youngest, getting married in April, and having a grandchild, first one in June, it really, really causes you to step back and think, am I getting it done? Am I becoming? What's my limitation? You know, it's going to come up. I talk about it often, and not because I'm an advocate of it or not because I'm trying to, I guess you'd say, show it. I'm not trying to show you something. It's just a contextual piece. But I go to Orange Theory. Saturday morning, I see Brad. I don't know Brad's last name, but I've been seeing him for the last 5.5 years. And then we got to talking because when we're on the treadmill together, I'm like, dude, you have lost a lot of weight. He goes, well, actually, 85 pounds. Dang, that's awesome. And so we got to talking. We've sort of developed that Saturday morning relationship. And the reason I bring him up is because when you think about unlimited and what we get to do and our thinking, and if the only thing holding us back is ourself, in any capacity, personal, physical, spiritual, financial, go down the list. I bring Brad up because he said, what are you doing today? I said, well, I'm actually going to work a little bit. He goes, me too. I said, what are you going to do? He owns a small satellite company. He said, well, I'm actually going to go see a client. She doesn't like the over-the-phone thing, so she wants me to go see her in person to help her talk about getting this satellite system. He said, what about you? I said, well, I'm actually meeting a client at Centennial Private Airport in Denver, and I'm bringing him his clothes. He's flying in for the day to play golf at Castle Pines Country Club, which is one of the more exclusive clubs in Denver. I think it's $500,000 to join. It's one of 4 he belongs to. And he looked at me and goes, okay, hold on. You're going to go to the airport to deliver your client in his private jet his custom clothes. I'm like, yeah. Why do I share that with you? Because as I was driving to the airport, and I'd asked him, he's a good client, I've known him about 15 years. I said, do you mind if I come casually? He goes, no, I'm going to be in golf clothes. I was thinking to myself, that's kind of cool. I guess that'll never happen for me. I'll never be able to roll up my family in the private jet and pull up to my 4th country club and do all that. And I was like, why? Why would I think like that? And fill in the blank. Maybe none of that's important to you. Maybe you're a big Roll Tide, since Alabama was talked about all this week, and you want to give all this money and be a big booster. And you're like, I can't do that. I'm just the humble little clothier. But you recognize that the only thing that's limiting us is us. It's our picture of ourselves, right? It's what we put on us. And my ask of you today is that as I show you the objectives just real quickly, and I make it super simple, and you think about something that you want, whatever that want is, I would just ask that you don't limit yourself. Don't put a restriction. Don't put a boundary. Don't be uninfinite. Consider the what ifs. So now let's go up here. This is our company. You don't have to spend a lot of time with it. I know people take pictures. I'd encourage it. Michelle did an awesome job of making it really, really simple. In 2023, we're going to do $600 million. We're going to have 125 units per person, and we'll do 26 transactions as an average, and we'll get 8 new clients, and we'll end the year at almost 600 sales professionals selling. Y'all, if you take one small thing from this, know this. When we, and it's a we, I'm not going to do it all, you're not going to do it all, we're going to do it together. When we crest over 700, we will scream to 1,000. And the only reason I mention that is because it's only our limitation. All the time I get, well, you know, Steve, we've just never really gotten more than 500. I'm like, yeah, we have. We just seem to hang around this number. I said, no, we don't. But it's our limitation because it's easier to stay comfortable in what I know and what I can see myself as and not put myself out there in case I fail, rather than thinking about what is the possibility. This is, whoops, not that yet. One more. There we go. This is our part, okay? So we started this year at 135 million, and we're going to end at 150 million. And that's just retail, right? That's just us in Tom James. That's not the entire company. When you saw 600 million, that's the entire company. We're going to average 140. That's a goal, and 250 partners selling. And then next year, we'll go to 150 million. In the time that I have with you, I mentioned my age is because I made a firm decision, if you will, retiring at 70, so you get me for 10 more, God willing. And I'll live to 100. It's my goal, God willing. So I'm not leaving the earth. I'm just going to leave Tom James. But in this time, I want to make sure that when we end, that we get us over 500 people and we get us over 250 million so that we can do our part to build our company to $1 billion. But when you look at that, the reason it's in a simple, easy to kind of grasp slide is that I just want you to consider. I don't want you to look at that and go, oh, good luck. Hope you get there. I'm going to do me. This is us. Just look at it and consider. Profit, we'll do 13 million this year. We've done 11.9. This is not a big number. Next year, we'll go to 15.5. Non-conformance, it's just customer satisfaction. We're running 4.9. We're going to be 3.5, and then I think we get down to 3. And ultimately, and I know this is a big number, and it goes along with the examples that I'm sharing with you in analogies, I want us to get to 0. And you're like, oh, that's impossible. Maybe it is. But I'd like to consider, because I'd love to say, as a customer satisfaction rating, we give 100% customer satisfaction. And by the way, it's not a hugely unattainable thing because you look at people that sell at a whole lot high levels. Steve Adelsberg has a 1.1. So hitting 0 is not some unreasonable number. And then hiring. This is the one that gets me really excited because we're offering this opportunity to people all over this world and giving them the chance that we in this room get to have. So we started with 245, we'll end at 300. We've already hired 32, and there's another 100 on the books. I didn't purposely put in net gain or termination because we don't want to think that way. Let's just think about what we're building and how many we're going to bring on. Then next year, we'll be to 400. And by the end of 2025, we'll be 500 people. We'll fill up this room, and clearly we'll be at 1,000 people in our company as we represent 51%. Here's the keep it simple. This is our part. So this is one you want to take a picture, you want to remember. It's like, hey, I'm trying to remember, what are we doing? What's our goal? This is it. 265 for the year, 43,000 a month. We just basically did that, so it's definitely a possibility. It breaks down to doing that July and December, and then we do a 50,000 unit trunk show in December. And that's not unreasonable. You've shown you can do that. We do it regularly. It's 176 per person. Give you just quick stats, so you're like, well, what does that mean to me? Can we really do that? You know, DC, if you talk to them, they were nearly 300 per person. Boston was somewhere north of that. It's possible. Don't limit your thinking. Just today, while you're sitting there, while you're reflecting on the week, while you're starting to make your goals, while you're thinking about making decisions, I just asked you to consider. Lastly, as you embrace and take ownership of these divisional objectives, that we will achieve, along with our company objectives, consider what unlimited can look like for you and through the many, many examples all around us. And there's way too many for me to give. I want to put context into that concept of unlimited and taking ownership of our objectives. Dom Roberto, best month yet, 1,061 units in 1 month. Yeah, for sure you should clap. But I don't want that to glaze over to you. I want you to think about that's President's Club in a month. That's nearly $450,000 in a month. Jordan Yoakum, 1,000 units, and then selling 8,275 in 12 months. Rolling 12, 8,000 units. Jill Scott, new territory, comes back, had been obviously off for maternity. She sells 886 units in a month, and then took time off during the month. Steve Adelsberg, 31 years in, right? He just shared that. And yet he still has his best month of his career in June yet at 855 units. And to be honest with you, none of this is meant to be recognition. It's really to get you to consider, like, wow, could I do that? Maybe I'm Nicole Adam and I'm about to have a child. So could I sell 800 units in a month? I mean, she just had her best month yet, over 536 units, right? Sam sat up here, 24 months in the business, figuring it out. And she has her best month, 685, hits Car and Driver. You heard all of that. I want you to consider. Cheyenne, she's absolutely said it out there. I'm going to work these many days. I'm going to take care of Olivia and Keith. She has her best month yet at 685. And 685 units, you're like, I can't even fathom that. I didn't do it in a year yet. Or I didn't do it in a season yet. How am I going to do that? I don't want you going there. I'm simply asking to think unlimited, without boundaries, without restrictions. How about earning over $100,000 in a single month? We have 3 people in here who did that in the month of May. $100,000 in a month. If you want to run the math real quick, times 12, that means they would make 1.2. And we just get to serve clients. All we do is go out and see people in their home or office and make it easy for them to buy clothing. And you can earn $1 million? And then lastly, how about being able to own or afford or pay off your home or your several homes or your car? How about owning multiple homes, cars, watches, etc.? How about being able, and this is big, right? How about being able to give away 90% of your net income and live on 10%? Give away 90% of your net income and live on 10%. And then how about continuing to become the best version of yourself? When you think unlimitedly, without restriction and boundary, each of these objectives that you saw on the screen, each of the achievements I just mentioned, and there's so many more, are not only possible, but have and are already happening. People in this room, people in our company have done the things that I just shared with you. When you remove the boundaries, the limits, the restrictions, and you allow yourself to think unlimitedly, you'll achieve what you want. You can have as much as you want. You can have as many as you want this season and beyond. Just consider. Thank you all very much. I appreciate the time. I'm very, very proud of what you're doing. I'm proud for you. So Milo and Ruben, would you come back?
Can we get Brent Taylor, Ari Gray, and Duncan Ham up here, please? Give them a warm welcome. All right, welcome to the podcast. Get comfortable, take a seat. We got some good questions for y'all.
Okay.
So we're going to be talking to these leaders because of the organizations they run and what their numbers represent, all right? So I'm actually going to start with Duncan, and for a little bit of context here, Duncan leads your organization. You lead the company in hires per person. So curious what your philosophy is on hiring.
How long do we have? Just kidding. Philosophies on hiring. There are three things that come to mind when it comes to hiring. One is something very unique about Tom James is this is our company, right? We are the owners. So I look at it as it's my company. And the way we're going to grow this company is with people. I mean, our per person average keeps going up, but if you watch Todd's projections, a key component is the people. And so I take a lot of responsibility in growing our company through people. The second part would be the four pillars we've spoken about here with sales, leadership, net worth, and personal growth. And the leadership part, I think you owe it to yourself to investigate what is the leadership opportunity and what does that look like when it comes to that pillar. And then the third part would be, as my mind just went blank, would be an abundance mentality. I am so blessed for the opportunity I have. And being here 20 years, you really get some perspective as you look around at your peers, your clients, and what we have that's truly special here. And it's wrong for me to keep it all to myself and not share it with others. And I think someone took a chance on you. And I feel that we need to extend that to other people to share in the blessing. So those are my philosophies on hiring.
Do your leaders ever feel like not hiring? And if so, how do you encourage them?
Yes, of course. I would encourage everyone to two things. One, have a hiring plan. Most of us hire emotionally, and that's wrong. You don't hire when you feel like hiring. That's not a good business move, right? We know that there aren't good emotional decisions in business. And so don't lay that over your hiring as well. It's like, well, when I get my sales up, or, well, I'm really hurt because that last person left. It's like, no, we're always hiring. So have a hiring plan and follow the hiring plan regardless of how you feel. Sorry if that's a little tough love, but that would be the way I would encourage leaders when you don't feel like hiring. It's like, what's your hiring plan say? And our organization, all of our leaders talk about hiring one per season. Some even want to hire more than that. And that's the plan that we follow.
Thank you, Duncan.
Yeah.
Next, we have up Ari Gray. For context, Ari's my leader, so that means he's the luckiest leader in the world. Ari, our org is up 25% in sales, 25% in transactions, and 26% in new clients. What are you focusing on to get those results?
We have a high sense of urgency in our office, and that stems from two things. That stems from, number one, being tied to something, some initiative that we're giving out. Much of it is being top in our company. So right now, it's Atlanta, New York City, and then Boston. We have significantly less people than those two cities, so I know when we hire, like Duncan said, and get that part clicking, we can be number one in our company. And we don't say that for ego, we say it because we're tied to it. So there's a high sense of urgency tied to the goals, and the urgency is also tied to on a very finite level, getting appointments today and tomorrow. So I think we gain a lot of traction with that. When you go further than that as a new partner, you have a higher chance of cancellation. So we talk every day about, before you leave, have at least 1 to 2 anchor appointments for the next day. And we've gained a lot of traction with that.
Awesome. How as an office do you stay excited about pushing towards each of those levels?
Yeah, I mean, I think about we have a trip coming up in August based on our profit of last year, which I know the program changed, but we still have opportunity to earn money. But we're all going to Cape Cod, and we rented a beach house, and I just get excited to spend time with everybody. We're a very close office that way. And so we tie ourselves to that, and we run with it. I mean, we push for that every day, every season. And, as we hire, we're on our 7th new hire this season. And it's important to know that it's not necessarily me, Amber, and Dom, and the producers, quote unquote producers in our office. It's our new partners that are making a big difference as we progress. Boston just had their best month in the history of the office, above 3,300 units, and it was much due to the urgency of our newer partners living in the day-to-day world that we're all in. It's incredible to watch. So we're all tied to all of that.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ari.
Thank you.
Grant, the company non-conformance year to date is 5.2%, but Atlanta's is 2.7%. What's caused your office to stay so low there?
Thanks for giving me the fun topic.
Yeah.
I think nonconformance, or however we want to present it, customer satisfaction or profit, in some ways has become like this word where we don't want to talk about it, or it's just like this thing that's just kind of boring, right? And so I think that there's been a foundation that's been laid in our office from the very beginning, from Naresh to Jose to Bill to Cheyenne, that they've prioritized and they've modeled what it looks like to run a really clean business. And then Ryan Hamlet, who's in charge of our profit, has kind of picked it up from there. So that's been a big part of it. I think nonconformance is a thinking issue. There's systems that go into it for sure, but the thought process has to be first, is it important to me? And so I think we all have different reasons that it can be important to us, whether it's nonconformance bonus, whether it's assistant allotment, whether it's running a clean business. There's 3 that I think about a lot for me and then just for our office. If you talk to anybody, or I've talked to a lot of people and within Tom James, and when you look at your business, the 2 things that cause people the most stress is 1, not selling enough, and then 2, being overwhelmed with the details from selling. And so if we can help eliminate the second one through good systems and nonconformance, this job is a lot less stressful. The second is I don't want anybody I work with to be the king or queen of first dates. I think about our office, or I think about our business as a bucket. And so every time you add a new client, you're pouring a little bit of water in there. Every time that you make a mistake or you do something that compromises your relationship with the client, or you just do something from a nonconformance standpoint that shouldn't have been done, you're just drilling a little hole in that bucket. And so we just don't want to be the king and queen of just always having to add new clients because we're replacing all the ones that we lost. And then the last thing is I just think about reputation. We're going to have the benefit over these next couple years of Matthew Perez really putting emphasis on our brand. I think Steve Adelsberg mentioned that earlier. I hate when I call a client and they had some type of bad experience. And most of the time it was not because of the clothing, it was because of something that a salesperson did or didn't do. And so if we can eliminate that and create a really, really, really good reputation in our marketplace, I just think it's going to be a lot easier to do business.
Love it. Last quick question. Any specific systems you have in place in order to lower nonconformance aside from the thinking piece?
Any systems?
Systems. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think if you think about any thing in your business, like any important what requires an important who. So, for example, nonconformance, it first started with saying, hey, who's going to take ownership of this in our office? And that's been Ryan. And then the second part is identifying. I think nonconformance in general is just overwhelming, right? And so get with somebody that understands the P&L, or if you understand the P&L, there's 2 places I would start. I would start with just what's out of whack. So there's two ways that you can look at it. You can say, hey, what's just high from a non-conformance standpoint? Is it alterations? Is it returns? Is it remakes? And then I want to focus a lot on that area to get it down. And then the second area is that you can look and see what are the expenses that I can control that are outpacing my sales growth. So if we're growing at 10%, or I'm growing at 10% individually, but my alterations are growing at 20%, that's a problem, and that's not a good business move. So what can I do to put systems in place? So there's a lot of technical things that we'll do. I mean, custom returns have to be approved. We spend a ton of time on the alterations in the tailor shop. We talk through what it looks like to have a conversation with a client to collect bad debts and remakes and all that kind of stuff. But I think it first starts with identifying the areas that need work on, and then go to work on figuring out what are the specific systems that are going to help you get down in that area.
Awesome. All right. Thank you to these three. Appreciate you guys being on the podcast.
Oh, thank you, sir.
My legal team wanted me to remind you guys that you are not getting paid. Please don't sue us. We cannot handle another lawsuit. All right. Can we get the slideshow up? Yep, there we go.
So Milo, it's time to talk about some amazing things that we can achieve this fall.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Now, how about ATS? That looks pretty cool, but quiz, you have to be in your first year to earn that, right?
I'm gonna go yes.
Wrong.
Yeah. I meant no.
That's correct. Yes, that's correct. This achievement is for every partner who has yet to achieve that level of sales. So let's pull it up and talk about it here. So the way this works, y'all, for ATS, and I'll do a quick bird's eye view explanation here, is there's 4 summits that happen 4 times a year. The first time you achieve 187.5 units in a rolling 3 months, you go on summit number 1. 375 within a 6-month period, summit number 2. The first time you achieve 562.5 within 9 months, you get summit number 3. And 750 in a rolling 12 months, summit number 4. You can earn this at any point in your career as long as this is your first time doing it. So think about it like a President's Club trip, right? The first time you exceed 1,000 units, you go on the PC trip. The first time you do this, you get to attend an ATS summit.
That is amazing. Now, I know some of you in this room have achieved ATS summits this season, so we'd like to recognize you. So if you've achieved an ATS summit, please stand so that we can all celebrate you.
Yeah.
Now, if you've achieved 2 summits, remain standing.
2 summits or more, stay standing. How about 3? You've heard 3 or more summits.
Wow. You guys have all hit 4 summits that are standing? I mean, drop the mic. Congratulations.
Awesome, thank you. For those of you who are goal setting to achieve ATS, you have a lot to look forward to. I'm going to quote Carter Babcock. This is his words, not mine. Quote, by the way, Carter achieved all 4 summits. He was standing there. I think the ATS trips are a great way to celebrate the hard work and small successes of your first couple years selling. Not only do you get to travel to fun places and stay in luxurious hotels, but you get to tie the opportunity to receive extra training by some of Tom James' most influential partners. My favorite trips were Chicago and Nashville. We had the privilege to have a session with Todd himself in learning the values of setting goals and setting a vision for success. This was then wrapped up the day with a CEO-level dinner, which was amazing. Every single partner should strive to hit these because they are truly incredible ways to take advantage of the Tom James opportunity. Thank you, Carter.
Now, Milo, what about those fall getaways? Who's pumped for San Diego? And what about Savannah? Milo, where are you going to go?
I am torn because on one hand, in San Diego, there's Legoland, so you get to play with Legos. But Savannah, I don't know if you guys saw, quote, spooky fall time activities. So, yeah, thank you for the laugh there, Katie. But that was on the slideshow, so I don't know if Kevin put that in, but that's the most amazing thing I've ever
sorry,
seen.
we have an ATS video.
Oh, we jumped right past that, didn't we?
We jumped past your video, guys. Please watch.
Yeah, check that out.
The incentives that Tom James provides have been astronomical compared to what I have thought they would be. I've been on 7 trips. I've been to Chicago, Marco Island, Louisville, Nashville, the list goes on. Places I never really expected to go to as a 23-year-old. It really is a great reward for your hard work.
I always tell my friends I'm so glad I found Tom James, but I seriously am so grateful to be a partner with a company that treats their workers just this good.
All right,
Nice.
give it up again. I'm actually pretty jealous. It's gonna age me, but I'm too old. I never got to go on those. So everybody in this room that can go on it, go on it and then tell me how cool it was, so I can still be jealous.
It's the new Oxford trip. It's cooler though.
All right, Milo. Now I'll ask you, where are you gonna go for the fall getaway?
Probably Savannah because my wife likes spooky fall time activities, so that's probably gonna be where we go. Yeah. Have you been to one?
Oh, they are the best. The first time I ever achieved one was when we were going to San Francisco. And I called my sister. I decided that I was going to take her long before I had sold anything. And she got very pumped. She doesn't fly often. Then month 2 came, and I was very, very, very far away from the trip. And my sister called me every single day, multiple times a day, asking me, so when are we going to San Francisco? When do I book my flights? And because of that commitment, that's what gave me the extra push to achieve my goals that season. And I got to go to San Francisco with my sister, and Connor in my office got to go with his parents. And it is one of the most phenomenal trips I've ever been on, and some of my favorite memories I have with my sisters to this day.
Was also on that trip. Super fun. Napa. Good time. And I'm sure many of us in this room have hit the fall getaway in the past, and I know a lot of us will love it. So we got some good opportunities this year. So what we're trying to do, guys, is just kind of remind you of all the things that are on the line for this fall, because we're about to get into some goal setting, right? So we want to talk about ATS. We want to talk about fall getaway. And I'm wondering, is there anything else we could talk about? What was that? Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That was such a perfect tee up for us, too. That was what we were about to talk about. You've been on one of those.
I've been on quite a few of those.
I would ask everyone to raise your hand, but I think it's the whole room. Is everyone here goal setting for an incentive trip for next year to achieve this year, or has already earned one? Yeah. This is maybe one of the best incentives we have in place, other than our commission structure. I've been on countless. That's not true. I've been on 7, but they've been a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed every single one of them. Recently went to Italy with my wife, and we did our honeymoon right afterwards, and it was just best trip yet. They do get better. So, are you going for one of those?
Well, I think I'm going for Hayes this year.
Well, I'm actually going for Hayes a day before she earns it, by the way, just so that's clear.
No, Milo.
Scoreboard. Just for context, to show you how it all works, I can walk you guys through. By the way, we are catching up for time, so apologize for being a bit speedy here. We might want to go back real quick up to Fall Getaway, though. Sorry. Just so that we can show you guys how to earn it, because this came up, but I want to walk you guys through this real quick, just so that it's super clear before you ask your leaders about this. This is a 2-month quota level. So when you see that in order to earn the different levels, you see 0 and quota plus 20, which, look at the top left here. Quota plus 20 is quota plus 20 over your 2-month quota. So basically what we're talking about is you do quota plus 10 in July and quota plus 10 in August. Does that make sense? It's a total. Similarly, let's look at quota plus 140 meets 16. So there you get fall getaway plus pick 3. At that level, what we're really talking about is you do quota plus 70 and 8 new clients in July, quota plus 70 and 8 new clients in August. Now, obviously, it could be 10 one month and 6 the next, but do you guys understand kind of what I'm getting at there? This is a total of 2 months, so you just add 2 and 2. I'm sorry, you add 1 and 1 in order to get 2. Make sense there? Just making sure. Clarifying. All right, and these are the extras, by the way. You can get cash, stock, also stock, clothing allowance. So those are all the fun things you can get on top of just earning the trip. Plus, when you guys go to these fun cities, spooky fall time activities are not free, so if you have cash in your pocket, you can go on ghost tours, presumably. So that's Fall Getaway. Cool.
Now let's talk about Paris, because I'm going to beat you there.
Sure you will. Cool.
I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. One of my very best friends and I were supposed to go to Paris 4 years ago. Unfortunately, he passed away. And this past January, in our session, I literally texted one of my other good friends and said, during goal setting, when are we going to Paris? We have to go this year to honor Morgan. And within 5 minutes, our new trip incentive videos played, and lo and behold, it was Paris. So not only will I beat Milo to Hayes,
Sure.
but I get to bring all of my friends, and his favorite show is Sex and the City. So we're all going to dress up Sex and the City vibe, and we get to go out in Paris. So anybody that wants to join me, feel free to get your finest garb on, and we'll celebrate together.
That is awesome. If you guys don't already do this, I've already put this in my calendar. This is just a version of commitment. Those who you would bring, tell them, get them involved, make sure they know what you got to do, and make sure they know when it is. So if there's one of these that you're going for, make sure you know exactly what you need in order to achieve it. Make sure you know exactly when it is, who you're going to bring, and how you can get there. And this is all going to tie into really proper goal setting, because what is it? A wish is a wish until it becomes a goal. So let's turn these wishes into goals here in just a moment, okay? So I'll give you an example, right? We're talking about what can we do this fall, what are the things on the line, what can we earn, and how can we get them? So Amber and I talked about Hayes, okay? So that's 3,000 units. So how do I go about figuring that out? Well, there's the handy tool on the secured site called your rolling 12-month calculator. I'm not sure who made it 8,000 units, but apparently everybody's supposed to sell 8,000 units this year. That's not my goal, sorry, Nucci. But so if I'm going for 3,000, right, I can plug in where am I and where do I need left. So I looked at it, right? So my timeline is I want to do it in September. So that tells me I need to do 306 3 months in a row. So big number, a little scary. How do I break that down into something I can control? So if I run the numbers on that, basically I need to get 3 transactions for 15 units a day. Can I do that? Yeah, I can do that. How do I get 3 transactions in a day? Well, I got to see 5 or 6 people a day. Can I make sure every next day is lined up with 6 appointments? Yes, I can. So now I have control. And this is now the time when I want to encourage you guys to spend a bit of time, spend a few minutes. We've got a few minutes. Look at that. It's like we planned this. And think about what we're working on and think about how we can get there.
Yep. What are you excited about? What are you going to share your commitments with this year? So all of you take out your phones. And now that we've retired as flight attendants and become podcasters, you can remove your phone from airplane mode. And I want you to text grateful to this number on the screen.
Bear with us. Follow along, please. Text grateful. That's how you spell grateful, by the way. It's not E-A-T. It's A-T-E. To that number. And then you're going to be able to share your goal on screen. And we'll read them out as they come in. And I'd love to know what we're all working towards.
You can do this anonymously, or if you'd like to share your name, just add your name to the comment so Milo and I can read it aloud.
Oh, car and driver.
Heyo.
That's exciting.
What about ATS? The fall getaway.
That's Sarah Slaper, maybe? Car and driver? What else we got? Oh, what do you see there, Amber?
Oh, beat Milo.
Wait, who's that? Hayes beat Milo. That's got to be Kira. Yeah, nice try. Scoreboard.
Bringing my boyfriend to San Diego.
Fall 2023 Chairman's Club Fall Getaway. Jake Hadley. All right, someone's goal is Jake Hadley. That's awesome. Great goal. ATS.
ATS, baby. I really want a Prada bag if somebody wants to write that in there. Goal by Amber, Prada bag. Another fall getaway.
ATS.
Where are you guys going to go? PhD next month. Who is that?
Oh, my God. ATS trip. And guys, why are we doing this? This makes it fun. This makes it real. This puts skin in the game. Make sure you were taking this to the next level, figuring out the numbers we need. Chairman's Millionaires. Hello.
Millionaires.
That's millionaires with a smile on your face, too. That's an especially important goal. San Diego.
Plus 2 nights. I feel you guys. That's a long flight from Boston.
I'm going to meet Milo and Amber, winky face.
That's it. Who is it?
Great. Have we ignited an unhealthy spirit of competition in this room? Because I like it.
Dubrovnik.
Dubrovnik. Hit Fall Getaway, then PHC by December.
Woo, woo, woo.
Let's go. President's Club.
President's Club, baby. You're going to give your speech in Marco Island in July.
Car and driver. We're going to have a fleet of Tom James vehicles next year.
Should we all put them like Doms and have
Tori
pinstripes on the
Cates
side?
will be in Croatia.
Oh.
Yeah, she will. First ATS trip. They're awesome. That's an amazing goal. President's Cabinet Club. All right.
I know that Sam Hammond wrote this one.
I'm so for my hubby, Alyssa, and sharing a trip to Paris with her next year. I think you might have accidentally a word, but I'll take it.
Hubbies Alyssa and Sam are going to Paris.
Panama, baby. Love that. Rookie of the year.
Oh, baby.
ROY. Hello. Pikes Peak Club. End of first year in Greenville. I have no idea who that could be, but that's an amazing goal. That was sarcasm.
Chairman's Club, 2250.
Dude, who put the accent on Panama? I respect that.
Oh, nice. Lower nonconformist to 3%.
I can get behind that. PC, palm tree, sunglasses. Let's go. There will be both of those at PC. San Diego.
San Diego.
I feel like more people want San Diego than Savannah. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. I'm
All right, so I
reading.
should
I'm
go to
reading
San
the
Diego.
room here.
Oh, PC trip to
Lehman,
Dominican Republic.
dude. Connor's coming to DR, huh? Let's go. PHC. ATS. 2 emojis that did not translate.
But they're bringing their sissy.
There is a sissy involved. Chairman's Club, December 23. Woo!
Oh, mom to Panama for her 60th birthday. What an amazing present.
Love that. Dude, Panama is going to turn up. Look at this. Yeah.
Panama City, baby.
You guys need to chill on Panama City.
Yeah, you guys are going to have
We're
a
going
blast.
to blow that place up. PC, Fall Getaway with the sisters. We got a lot of sisters. Fall Getaway. Lachey, let's go. Also, Lachey, how good was that testimonial from her, huh?
Yeah,
That was
honestly,
awesome.
I want
Give her
to
some
buy a
love.
llama
That was
now.
so good. Fall Getaway, PC in July, PHC so I can hire direct. Yes, let's go. Get into leadership. Good for the soul.
PHC and San Diego.
Oh, man.
Do I got to change my mind? Do I need to go to San Diego?
Someone's boyfriend's going to be lucky. Look at that. Spoil myself at the spa?
Now, who's that? You
More
and
like
I are on the
Spanama
same page.
City, right? Okay. Chairman's in October, both new hires to ATS, KK. Is that who's it? K? Is that someone's initials?
Take my sister to San
Who's
Diego.
KK? K. Katrowski? San Diego, 1,500 in Panama. See that emoji translated.
Oh, San Diego and Key West week-long fishing trip.
That's awesome. Chairman's Club.
Chairman's Club.
Dubrovnik, dudes. What up, Tierney? Business class to Paris, keep car and driver in 4,000 units? That's an assumption, but ATS 4. 4 of them.
Oh, somebody's girlfriend's now lucky in San Diego.
Someone's going to Savannah. Best year ever, 1750.
Wow, amazing.
Spooky fall time activities, perhaps?
Oh, this person's got a lot. They're going to sell 240 units every month. Fall getaway. Chairman's by November and millionaires by January.
I want to see that. That's awesome. Paris. Chairman's Club. All right, we'll give this a couple more minutes. I like this. We're having fun up here.
Oh, Courtney.
Courtney's in
Chairman's Club.
Chairman's. Sweet. If I rent on my own, my girlfriend can focus on her masters. Love that.
Amazing.
Cabinet, I'm assuming, and fall getaway to San Diego. Love that. Or they want to drive a cab.
PC within the next 2 months. Let's go.
Hello. Dude, Panama is going to be unreal.
I got a little FOMO.
I got to go. Hayes, beat Milo. You guys got to chill.
I like that they mostly say they're going to beat you.
All right? This is my fault. I introduced this. I'm sorry. Lighting it up in San Diego? Hell yeah. I mean, heck yeah.
Another San Diego. Nobody's going to go to Savannah with me? I got to change my mind.
Yeah.
PhD.
Savannah's going to have me. That's it. Dominican Republic trip and every ATS summit and fall getaway. Oh, my God.
Chairman's Club and San Diego.
All right. As we're doing all this, this is awesome. We're attaching numbers to these. We want to get specific, right? We want to come into Monday knowing what we're going to need, what it's going to take, and how we can get there. Keep this rolling, and we're going to wrap this up shortly here, all right? We got Croatia, fall getaway, ATS for the zoo, perhaps? Or ZO or someone's initials? Zoe, let's go. Although there is a zoo in San Diego, so sorry. President's Club, ATS, 250 average. Base for Hayes and Spring, President's Club. San Diego Chairman's Club. ATS. What time we got? All right. One more minute.
Another ATS.
Now, we have a video. Awesome. Maxing out fall getaway bonuses. All right, well, as this is tailing off, we can go and show the video at the end here.
No, we're going to talk about the video really quick. Everyone in this room matters. Every goal that you set, every unit that you sell, every new client, every transaction, every dial. Because Milo, who are we?
We are the Grateful Division, y'all.
So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, okay, good. Got it right. Awesome. Y'all, that is all we have for the divisional. Thank you. We have been so happy to be here with you guys. As a quick reminder, stay here. I mean, you can use the bathroom, but we're right back in this room, and we're going to wrap this meeting up. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.